Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. Hope you're all having a great day. Today we are racing at Phoenix Raceway, hoping to have a potential turnaround in our recent performance, which hasn't been the greatest. Of course, we went to Daytona Auto Club and Las Vegas. So far, we're finishing up the West Coast swing here today at a quote-unquote short track. I don't count it as a short track, but here in Phoenix, and I'm excited for this one here now as we still are chasing our first top 10 and I think even first top 15 in the Cup Series. So top 20 has been a stretch here, as you can see us touching down in the Phoenix area. Yeah, I mean, last episode we struggled more than we've ever struggled before. The car was slow, the car was just not fun to drive, so you put those two combinations together and you got what we got, an absolutely abysmal result here. Now we have a brand new paint scheme made by Sanok WeatherTech. You usually see WeatherTech sponsoring like cars for when it comes to road racing, and not only in NASCAR but in like GT stuff, but we're here on an oval with it. You will see this car coming up probably in mid-Ohio as well, but we got quite a few new paint schemes on the way. We actually have one. Do you guys remember Lation from the original career mode series? We got one from him in the next episode. We got D Money with a couple that he's made for me that I'm excited to show you guys in the coming episodes, basically. So here in practice on Friday afternoon, getting used to the car, and it was actually okay. It was a bit tight, so I was probably going to turn up the setup to a bit looser of an option in qualifying and then turn it back down to what I had right here in practice, because the car likes to get loose at Phoenix as the race goes on. The tires like to wear, especially the right rear, so I want a bit of a tighter car for that specific reason there. You see my practice times, but we're going to jump through now into qualifying. Actually, this paint scheme does look fantastic. Simple, but awesome. Sanok kind of has a thing where he makes a lot of awesome paint schemes, but I find for whatever reason the simple ones just turn out to look so good. But here we are, kicking off our qualifying with a goal of 26.658 here now, as I'm hoping for a top 25. That's kind of the realistic goal here for Colleague as we head down this back straightaway towards turn 3 and 4, and just trying to get down below the yellow lines is what you want to do here every lap possible, really, just like that, and then throttle up out of 4. A little bit tight still, but we're gonna head to the line there, and it's not gonna beat the goal. It's a 26.712, but it's P22, so better than my personal goal position wise, so I was pretty happy with that result right there. You can see William Byron, Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, a couple names there surprisingly towards the back. Actually got Chandler Smith back in the car. It will be Allmendinger back in. I felt like it kind of made more sense to keep him in for the West Coast swing, and then we'll have Allmendinger come in. So you can see though the rest of the order there. Christopher Bell in 10th. 5th goes to Briscoe. Larson on pole with Logano, Elliott, Chastain, and Briscoe running up the top 5 as we are getting ready for some Sunday racing. But before that, we had the Xfinity Series in town as well. No trucks again, another off week, but JJ Yeley won the Xfinity race. I don't know how that happened, but it did. So Yaley with the W there. You can see the rest of the order now as we're going to get ready for that Sunday race here from Phoenix now. So let's send it over to the grid with Chris Meyers, Mike Joy, and Clint Bowyer.
The West Coast swing comes to a close today in Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome everyone to what has been a heck of a start to this 2023 season. We've seen a new winner each race so far. Do you think that continues today, guys?
There's a good chance, Chris. Only 3 races in, of course, so a new winner is almost inevitable. I'd keep an eye on the 19 again, who's been real fast this year.
Also look for guys like Larson and Logano today to maybe turn things around. Not a great start to the year for them boys.
All right, it's time to go in Phoenix, Clint. Why don't we dial up Denny Hamlin today?
Hey, old Denny boy, it's Bowyer up in the Fox Sports booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Decent start to the year here for you boys. You've won here before. Unfortunately, before it was the title race. What do you think your chances are today?
Thanks for the reminder, Clint. I like our speed today, honestly. It wasn't a great qualifying, but I think you'll see us in the mix after the first set of stops.
All right, well, good luck today, bud.
Well, there you have it, pre-race as well as a quick chat there between Bowyer and Denny Hamlin. You saw Gilliland and, what was it, Gregson, sit to the back there as we're ready to go racing. Right behind that 34 of Michael McDowell from P22. The green flag is out. The final race of the West Coast Swing is underway. Race number 4 on the season in this WeatherTech Chevrolet Camaro. No threat of weather here today, but we head down into turn 1. Unfortunately, there was a threat of weather last night in the Cup Series race in Atlanta. This will be coming out on Tuesday, so 2 days since that race. Let me know what you thought of the race. I think aside from the weather ruining it, I thought the racing was really, really good. I'm wondering if the weather actually played a role into making the drivers get a bit more aggressive, but I mean, that aside, I thought the race was fantastic, and I don't know how you can possibly hate the new version of Atlanta after a race like that. It was epic, but yeah, focusing back in, Kyle Larson qualifying pole. He's out to an early lead by a few car lengths now. Up in the mix is his teammate of Alex Bowman, so keep an eye on him. Chase Elliott currently up in second place now. Larson's had a bit of a rough start to the season, currently the last car in the 16 driver playoff grid. Of course, we're not really going to pay attention too much to the playoffs this point in the season, but for us specifically, we will, because in a 4-star car, it's a lot tougher to make the playoffs, so it's going to be quite a, regular season-long battle. If we were in a 5-star car, we wouldn't really be worried because we know we'd probably be comfortably in the playoffs without any issue. Unfortunately, though, in these early laps, you saw Kyle Busch get past me. There was a lot of fast cars that had rough qualifyings, including fellow Rookie of the Year contender Ty Gibbs there for Joe Gibbs Racing. Behind us, we got William Byron in that number 24 car, of course, stole the win from Martin Truex Jr. in overtime back in Auto Club. Truex been really strong to start the season. His future still up in arms, or up in the air, I guess we should say. We don't know what's going on. We know Kevin Harvick is retiring at the season's end, but I'm hearing that there could be 1 to potentially 2 more drivers hanging it up. Potential news coming as soon as Atlanta, which is the next episode. As well for Atlanta, I may or may not have a mod that actually brings super speedway racing to Atlanta. It'll still be on the old Atlanta, but it'll be in the potentially new style of racing that we see. Well, kind of. It'd be more like a Daytona Talladega, and they're quite a bit different from Atlanta now. But you can see myself continuing to struggle here in stage 1, only 14 laps, and I could tell immediately there was potential in this car. We needed a pit stop in this car, and well, we get an opportunity. The caution is out. You see some smoke up ahead, and I think that's the 19. I think that's Martin Truex Jr. Yes, it is. Truex has brought out the caution. Nobody's pitting. I decide we're going to throw a bit of a curveball here, so we're going to come into the pits here and make some big adjustments.
Okay, so we're going to loosen it up and also add some tire pressure on the right sides for you here.
You hear the plan. So tire pressure is going up on the right sides, loosening it up, as I was definitely struggling with the car being quite tight. So let's get a look at the replay. Martin Truex Jr. blew a tire through the tri-oval, and Kurt Busch there in the 67, a little bit of contact there with him. Kurt Busch has got a lot of speed today, but look at that, the 17, the 11 all catch a piece of it. Denny Hamlin there, and then he's going to come back up the track, and Kyle Busch nowhere to go, but obviously those drivers don't actually get any damage because the caution was already out. We go to the back because, well, nobody pitted, so I have a big plan here. It's 2 laps to go in stage 1. Here's the situation. Everybody is going to have to pit in 2 laps time at the end of the stage. And my mindset was, we are just going to ride around for these 2 laps. I say that as I just tried to right hook Noah Gragson head on into the outside wall. But what we're going to do is we're going to cruise around this track. I say that again and I'm passing cars, but basically we're going to put very minimal tire wear, or put very minimal wear on our tires, and everybody's going to pit. We're going to stay out, and then we're going to go to the lead in stage 2, and then we will kind of see from that point on. Stage 2 is long enough to where there will be a green flag pit stop necessary if it does say green, without cautions, of course, that it shouldn't impact us too much there in terms of strategy. But here we are riding around on this final lap of the stage. I really backed it down on this final lap here. Kyle Larson, though, down into 3 and 4, talked about turning things around after a rough start to the year. Kyle Larson is going to win stage 1 here from Phoenix, and I'm just cruising through 4. The caution is going to fly right there as 10th place crosses the line. So P39, as Truex is, of course, 40th out of the race, unfortunately for him. But yeah, we're going to be P39, but you see it there. Everybody is going to come into the pits. Our worst tire is 98%. So we are going to stay out and get ready to lead to the green flag. Now, I don't expect to even stay in the top 10 after 5 laps, but I think we can be just in overall better shape. I do think this is a good strategy to at least attempt. And you know what? I'd rather attempt something a bit, aggressive and bold early in the season. So sure enough, to the lead and in control of the restart for the first time in our Cup Series career. The green flag is back out. We're going to dive down to the apron immediately. That would have been a penalty in real life. I dipped my left sides below the yellow line before you're allowed to. Of course, you have to hit that start-finish line first, but obviously you don't get penalized in NASCAR Heat 5, thankfully, because like I said, that would have definitely been a penalty and an embarrassing way to lead my first lap of the Cup Series. But nonetheless, leading the way down the back straightaway, here comes up 48 of Alex Bowman, though. Down into turn 3, Bowman's up my inside. Larson going backwards, Briscoe there into third, and I had contact with Bowman. That sends me up the track, and unfortunately, we're going to lose some ground here now. So Briscoe to second, Harvick to third, the master of Phoenix in his final season. He's got 2 Phoenix races left, one after today, of course, with the season finale. Can Harvick make it all the way to the championship race? I would love to see what he could do if he made the championship 4 at Phoenix. It could truly be something special. I didn't even stay in the top 10 for 3 whole laps. I was down to P11 here on the outside, just trying to stay out of the way, but also at the same time trying to fight as hard as I can, find a hole to get down into right in front of the 24 Byron, who's not happy I cut him off there, put the bumper to me, but it wasn't long till he got past me. He would clear me no problem. Kyle Busch going through, who's been moving his way forward all race long. Chase Elliott after a bad pit stop, now outside the top 15 currently, but I was continuing to struggle here in these early moments of stage number 2. Now, we don't know if those adjustments have really worked yet because we're not in an area where we were running earlier, so yeah, it's hard to kind of compare how the car is to the guys that we were fighting earlier, because reality is the top 15 is going to be really hard in Phoenix, which is a tough track notoriously on the 4-star car. Just like Las Vegas is, Atlanta could be a tough one, but if we have the super speedway kind of package there, could be a completely different story. So we'll have to wait and see here now as we continue on. And you can see Christopher Bell moving forward. Elliott finally got past me. Bubba Wallace to my inside. And the 41 of Brian Priest would be the last one to come through and pass me for the time being with 20 laps to go on the stage. Now, I have enough fuel. Everybody's going to have enough fuel to make it to the end of the stage. But what I didn't have was a right rear tire that was going to make it to the end of the stage. So I was hoping for a caution at any point between now and obviously I would say about lap 23, 24 would be the area where I might have to come into the pits. But you can see that now, the longer the run was going, I think the adjustments were working, because here we are now turning the tides a bit. We are putting pressure on the 21 of Harrison Burton here in his sophomore season. Bowman continues to lead. We're all the way down on the inside there, nearly into the pit lane exit, and up the inside of the Wood Brothers driver, who's trying to get Wood Brothers Racing their 100th win as we come through 1 and 2. And we're going to clear the 21 of Harrison Burton. So now we are starting to head in the right direction. My part-time teammate Chandler Smith a little bit further back there behind the 21. The full-time teammate of Justin Haley, the worst Colt Lake car running right now. Things have not been going well for him today after what's been a pretty actually impressive start to the season for our teammate of Justin Haley. But now running down the 41 of Praise, things are looking really good here now, but trouble up ahead. I can see some smoke. That's Kyle Busch crashing to the inside wall. I don't think he was actually the reason. No, he wasn't. It's a 10 of Eric Almirola, who appears to have some smoke pouring out of the back of the car. The caution's out, which is perfect for me. Look at that right rear. It was 25%, and I wasn't making it to the end of the stage very likely. Everybody's going to pit again. So Alex Bowman out in front over Briscoe, Harvick, Kurt Busch, as well as Kyle Larson. Last week's winner, Chastain, up in P6. We also get a look right there, so that was the best look I could get. It was hard to tell, but the 10 blew up, and then Kyle Busch wrecked himself trying to avoid it. My confidence now was getting a lot better because of the way the car was driving late in that run. A slow start for the 20 of Christopher Bell. He's been kind of hovering in the mid-teens area so far all race. Hasn't quite been able to crack the top 10. Eric Jones, how about him for Legacy Motor Club, having a good run compared to, say, a teammate of Noah Gregson, who started at the back of the field and really hasn't gone forward and has had a pretty rough start to the season so far. Let's be honest, just like real life, it's been a pretty rough rookie season for him and that whole team in general. Jimmy Johnson will be back in the 84 car in this career mode very soon, by the way. 3 wide with Christopher Bell and Brad Keselowski in that beautiful Castrol Ford Mustang. 3 wide, all the way cutting the dog leg. We're going to slide up in front of the 20 of Christopher Bell into turn 1. He's going to drive into the back of us. What is he trying to do there? He's going to wreck himself in front of the 41 of Priest. They're going to come together. Crash here in Phoenix. Turn 1 and 2. Hard hit to the outside wall. That's going to bring out the caution here in Phoenix. I don't think I did anything wrong there. It was well clear. You hear my brief side. I pulled up in front of the 20 and he just drove into the back of me and wrecked himself. I don't know what Bell was trying to accomplish. So I would pit because guess what? We weren't really moving forward. And again, we have a chance to pit here and then stay out at the end of the stage and get the lead again and just redo what we did this time with a car that I feel like I've finally kind of gotten confident in, and I think this could work out pretty well. So just like stage 1, we have 2 laps to go, and we're just going to ride around again. That's what I'll do. And it was Alex Bowman coming through to at least sweep the stages for Hendrick Motorsports here in 1 and 2. Larson, of course, won stage 1. Bowman wins stage 2. P38 for us in stage 2. But I was okay with that. Eric Almirola now behind us because he is out of the race there for Stuart Haas Racing. And then I saw this. Nobody's pitting. So that just screwed us over, but it might not be a lost cause because I'm going to pit again. We're going to come in and put another 4 tires on the car. It's only going to be a 1 to 2% difference, as you can see, for the right rear tire, but honestly, it might be worth a shot. So I took a shot on strategy after how it went in stage 1 going into 2, and well, it's not really worked out for us because we get back racing here, and obviously 30 laps ago we're in 38th place. However, like I said earlier, my confidence in this car was significantly higher at this point. I feel like we've kind of found our rhythm, our groove, what's working for this car, and I think we're putting it to good work already. Connor Daly on my inside there, we're going to put him 3 wide middle, we're going to pass him. There's Zane Smith. I forgot to change that car from a Toyota to a Ford, but here we go now around the outside of Justin Haley. It's been a rough day for Haley here on the Fan Shield 500 now. Doesn't look like it's getting any better for that number 31. He's been the best call leg car between himself and I for the first 3 races, but I'm changing things today. I mean, we've been running better than the 31 basically all day long, aside from when we go to the back with strategy, but here we go. 3 wide again. Around the outside of that 31, we will clear him down this back straightaway, and there you got Austin Hill as well in the mix, and he would actually get clear of me into 3 on lap 51, but then I dive it up the inside, and we are putting these 4 fresh tires to work here now, and I'm going to try and cut this dog leg once again and just continue to move my way forward. 27 to go, and look who's up in front. Denny Hamlin called a shot that it would be after the first set of pit stops. Well, I guess he's not wrong. After the first set of stops, it just took him 3 just about set of stops, but he is now leading this race here in Phoenix. Joe Gibbs Racing out in front here as I'm continuing to claw my way forward into 28th. Really hoping that this run goes long and green. I feel like that's where this car seems to get really quick compared to everybody else around us, and I mean, we just continue to move forward. This is something we could not do last time out in Las Vegas, and I was really happy with the pace in the car. Running down my favorite driver here, Daniel Suarez, trying to cross him over, go up the inside into turn 3. We would get up the inside right here, and he also has Todd Gilliland in front of him. So we clear Suarez, but I look in my mirror, look who's here. Kyle Busch, of course, in that wreck earlier, set back, and now here he is putting some pressure on me, and he would get to my inside, no problems at all, and then he would go up the inside of Gilliland past him. I would try to fill the hole there and bring it through as well, and we would get past Todd Gilliland to put us back into the top 25 as I continue to follow Kyle Busch through this field. Tyler Reddick, who started out really strong after starting a little bit further behind us, has fallen off, and same for Ty Gibbs. 2 monster cars outside of the top 20 right here. We're going to go up the inside of one of them and clear Reddick into turn 3 and 4. So up into 24th. Next up, Ty Gibbs. We are on a roll, on the move here in Phoenix. Absolutely fantastic scenes, and there it is. The caution's out with 15 laps to go, and we're all going to be forced into the pit lane here. Now, no real strategy that we can attempt on this one. How about Kyle Larson? He's dropped down ever since he lost the lead. He's kind of gone backwards, but we see a whole new vibe up front. Hamlin, Chastain, Christopher Bell, Kurt Busch, and Alex Bowman. Christopher Bell, who couldn't even crack the top 10 in stage 1 or 2, has found a way back forward. I give up 12 positions because obviously everybody took 2 tires. I did this intentionally because I didn't feel like I could actually comfortably get to the end and compete and fight for position on 2 tires. On 4 tires, I think we can pass the same amount of cars, get back to where we were already running, and then some. However, I don't, like I said, think I could do that on the 2 tires. I don't think we could have improved our position from that point on. I think it would have been too much of an equal playing field. So I put on the 4 tires, and we go immediately to work, cracking the top 30. Our confidence just continuing to build all episode long, and I think it was starting to kind of show with the moves I'm making here, going around the outside, 3 wide of Suarez and Austin Hill again. And there we go, P27, Zane Smith in front of us side by side with Gibbs, who continues to fade down the order. We passed them both, 2 for 1 special, 24th place, and now up the inside of Reddick after passing Gilliland, 22nd place. We're running better already than what we were at the time of the caution. Already a success. Look who's leading. It's not Denny Hamlin anymore. Christopher Bell, they have figured something out throughout this race with adjustments with the way he's running that car, because here he is leading this race in the final 7 laps into the top 20 now. The official best running colleague car here today. The first time I think we've been able to say that this season. Kyle Busch on my outside. We're going for P19 and maybe P18 on Michael McDowell up the inside of that 34 front row car. We clear him out of turn 2, lap 74. Next up, Harrison Burton, who's had a very respectable run here today. Smoke up ahead with 4 to go. That's going to bring out a yellow. There it is. That's going to force NASCAR overtime for the third time in 4 races. Daytona also had overtime. Auto Club had overtime. And, well, now here we are overtime again. It's Chris Buescher, who was running a very solid race in P10, and it looks like a pretty evident tire blowout, and there you see it big time through the tri-oval. So it's going to be Christopher Bell leading the field back to the green, but Kurt Busch in the 67 for 2311 Racing joins him on the front row. He has outrun his teammates all day long. Bubba Wallace second there for that team, and Reddick in third for 2311. We're back underway for NASCAR overtime. A chance for a great finishes here, and open to the dogleg we go. 3 wide up the inside of Joey Logano. Pay attention to the front. William Byron, who stole the win in overtime, and Auto Club from Truex is already up towards second on the inside of Kurt Busch, bringing his teammate of Alex Bowman with him, as we're 3 wide with Elliott and Brad Keselowski there for RFK. Still down the back straightaway, 3 wide. Here comes Logano into turn 3. Christopher Bell, who ran into the back of me earlier and wrecked himself, and like we talked about already, couldn't crack the top 10 to save his life. Well, here he is, leading in overtime at the white flag as I'm going all the way to the inside while nearly hitting it. You can't get much closer. As we go into 1, overshooting the corner though, up the track we go. Bubba to the inside briefly. We're going to clear him and Logano on the exit of 2, but I'm going to push way wide, so my chances of getting the 9 have ended. But down this back straightaway, it's going to be a career best so far into 3 and 4 for the final time, covering off the Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang of Logano. Christopher Bell wins in overtime here in Phoenix. He locks himself into the playoffs. We cross the stripe for 14th place. A heck of a day, and I did not see that coming. A great strategy calls. The car got better with adjustments, and we were just able to capitalize on a late race overtime restart as well. Honestly, couldn't ask for much better there, and it's nice to kind of get some momentum going into what is going to be an interesting run with Atlanta, Mid-Ohio as well. Some road course racing that I think we'll have a good shot at our first top 10 if we can't get it next week in Atlanta. So, a heck of a day here in Phoenix. That was a really good race. I would say that was the best race of the season. There was a lot of strategy and just a lot of diversity in who was running up front throughout the whole race as well. You see the standings for Xfinity after they raced in Phoenix, and we'll check out the Cup Series playoff grid, of course, to see what it looks like there. We still have a ways to go, but Byron, Chastain, Bell, Herbst currently in. If Herbst can stay in that top 30, he is full-time now after acquiring sponsorship for the full season after the 500 win. But you can see Suarez, Gilliland is the last one in the playoffs right now. A heck of a season so far for him. That's going to wrap it up for us, however. I will see you guys in the next one for Atlanta, and hopefully I'll have some plate style racing for you guys. It could be a fun one. I'll see you guys then. Have a great day, everybody.